If you were going to write your life story, if you're going to take the time to write your life story, your autobiography, would you be happy with your life's work up until today? I'm sure there's a lot of things that you've done throughout your life that you'd be happy about, yet I'm sure there's also a lot of things that you'll have done throughout your life that you'd like to change and to move forward. The good news about life is the rest of our life can be the best of our life. Whatever's happened in the past is gone. Going forward, we can write our own story about where we are and where we want to be. So we want to take the positives of the past and move forward in a positive direction. Tonight, I want to share with you a very powerful seminar. Tonight, I'm going to share with you some very powerful principles and philosophies that some of the world's leading experts use to achieve what they want out of life and to move forward. I've had the privilege of working for many years with some of the best business people, sports people, some of the leading professionals in their field for many, many years, and I've learned and studied from them, and I've applied these principles to myself to help me, and as a coach I've applied these principles to help other people as well, with great success. Now, I want you to think for one moment, just take a moment to reflect. In life, we tend to almost go on a treadmill. We get up in the morning, we go to work, we come home, we watch TV, get up in the morning, go to work, come home, watch TV, and it's almost like we're just drifting along on a treadmill. I urge you to take a step back and to see life from the outside looking in for this evening. Just take a moment to see life. Now, what I want to say is life in the form we're in at the moment goes very quick. It's like the old saying, if you blink, you miss it. It goes so fast. And think for one moment, take your age. So take your age and double it. And the reason and the significance of doing that, think of how fast you've got to the age you are now, and think of how quick it'll go, God willing. So it's incredible to think that we take it for granted. A lot of people tend to think that we're going to be here, at least in life form that we're in now, for an eternity. We're not going to be. It's a miracle that we are who we are. Think about it. At this present moment in time, you're one in approximately 7 billion in the world. And there's never been a person like you. There is no one like you, and another person like you in the form you're in now ever again. So it's a miracle. I truly believe that we all have a purpose in life. We need to let the light of the universe shine through. And I think that when we find our purpose, we become more balanced, more happier, more focused, and more determined about where we're going. So anyone who questions how unique you are, or how special you are, how special we are, just think of the statistics of you being you. Statistically, 1 in 7 billion. And there's never been you as you are now, and there'll never be another you as far as we know going forward. So it is truly amazing to think about that. Now, if we take that into consideration, where are you now and where do you want to be? Where are you now and where do you want to be? And what do you want out of life? So if you haven't got a pen, get a pen and get a paper and just join in. Because the true value of tonight is getting a pen and paper and joining in and participating in the exercise. Now, you're not accountable for anything you don't want to do, obviously, yet in saying that, one of the ways to get a lot out of the exercise this evening, so if you've got a pen and paper, I'll wait for you for 1 minute, get a pen, get a paper, and join in. It's really important that you join in to take lessons away from this evening. And having had the privilege of working with some of the leading people in their field, I'm sure you'll take something, if not more, away. Or if you're a coach, you're a teacher, or if you're using it for yourself, whatever really, I'm sure you'll take a lot out of tonight away. So get a pen, get a paper, and join in. Let's play ball. At the end of it, you're not accountable for what you don't want to do, yet at least you know that you'll learn a lot more by joining in. Now, I'm going to cover 7 key principles. The number 7, having studied some of the best people in their field, that they use to achieve and live their life by. Now, success, what is success to you? I ask you the question, what's success to you? Success to you is relative. I'm not saying that you've got to be a multi-billionaire, an award-winning author, a film star or a sports star, successful. It's just finding your own peace, finding your own true happiness. That could be, with the greatest respect, being a bus driver, 2.2 kids living in the suburbs and having a car and a house. It's all relative for me. I'm not saying being successful is anything other than what's right for you. Let's clarify that before we move forward. Because there's plenty of people out there that have got fame, they've got money, who aren't happy with who they are and what they're doing. So I'm not saying that's the be-all and that's the end-all. Yet in saying that, I truly believe finding our purpose in life will go a long way towards us feeling balanced, motivated, and living a life where we feel positive and upbeat. You get up in the morning, spring in our step, and we go forward. And it's fantastic to be alive. Because life is truly a gift. When you think about it, the person you are today, whatever you're going through in life, life is a gift and it's a learning experience. And I've had plenty of ups and downs in my life, yet it's been through the adversity I've grown and looked back, and I think that I wouldn't be the person I am today had it not been for certain challenges. I'm sure you'll sort of resonate with you as well. So think about it for one moment and take time to think, because the world that we live in, we don't have enough time to think about where we are, where we want to go, or what we're doing. And it's really important that we do that, because life soon passes us by, and before you know it, like I said, you write your life story and you think, well, what exactly have I done? Am I where I want to be? I've only got one shot at it. And you never know, life's quite fragile. We take it for granted. People say, when they're retired, I want to travel the world. When they're retired, I want to do this. Do it while you can, I say, and when you can. Because if you wait for that day to arrive, it might never arrive. Life is precious. Now, the first principle I want to share is successful people know what they want. Be very focused. Well, what do I want? So whether it's career, your health, fitness, how you want to contribute, your recreation, your job, financially, or all of those areas, successful people know what they want. They're very clear about what they want. Clarity is power. The easiest way to describe it, if you were describing it to a 5-year-old, if a 5-year-old can't understand, it's too complex for what we call the unconscious mind. Let the unconscious mind get to work by knowing what you want. Now, I've done the work I do for many, many years, and when I get clients come and see me from all parts of the country and around the world, come and see me, I ask them, well, what do you want? And guess what the answer is? Guess what the answer is? A lot of people say, I don't know, type thing. And it's crazy to think that if we don't know what we want, how do we know we're on the right journey, on the right path? And we do go through periods of life, of course, where we might not be sure, and sometimes we need to get that clarity. Now, knowing what you want is key. So whether you want to get in shape, what shape do you want to be, whether you want to do a new career, a new job, what sense of purpose you want, the clearer you are about what you want, the easier it becomes. And sometimes I get people come to see me and say, I just want to be happy, Jim. Could you imagine you've driven to see me for a session for 3 or 4 hours, and you see me and you say, I just want to be happy, Jim. And I say, well, be happy then, goodbye. And make sure you pay for your session on the way out. You won't be very happy then, would you? Yet, what I'm saying is, happiness is a state. We all go through states. We all are happy at certain times of life, and certain times we're not happy. It's just the way it is. Sometimes we experience things in life where we don't feel too great, and that's normal and natural. There's nothing wrong with that. Night needs day, day needs night. Happiness is balanced with some sadness. As long as you don't stay in the sadness, then I'm sure things are okay. Things happen in our lives, tragedies, and there's emotions that we experience throughout life, and sometimes we do have times we feel sad. And through that sadness, sometimes is when we do some of our greatest work. So there's nothing wrong with that, but along the way you need to know what you want and be very clear. Know your outcome. So I say plan your day. What I do and what I teach my clients to do is to plan their day. And in the evening I plan my day, so during the evening when I'm in bed, the unconscious mind goes to work on the outcomes that I've planned throughout the day. Yes, it doesn't always go to plan, yet he's saying that when it doesn't go to plan, I appreciate that potentially maybe the universe has got a bigger plan for me, and I adapt to the situation accordingly. And that's life, that's the way it is. Best laid plans, but at least if I know I'm working towards something, I feel focused. And what I would suggest to do is when you plan your day, think at the close of play tomorrow, would I be happy with what I've done? And over a period of time, if you're not happy with what you've done or what you're doing, then it's time to reevaluate where you are and make changes, which is key. So know your outcomes. So I want you to list a couple of things, outcomes you want. So you might want to write a book, you might want a certain type of job, you might want to go into a relationship, you might want to get in the best shape ever, but write down what you want. Write it down. Write down what you want. Or you might have a list of things that you want. Write down what you want. Because successful people, if you're not quite sure about what you want, I've done a values exercise. If you haven't got the email, the values exercise, you can email me. And the values exercise helps you to get some sort of alignment. Because if you live a life out of alignment, the likelihood is you're not going to be happy or satisfied. If you're living true to your values, and the value is, in this context, what's important to you, you're always going to get up in the morning and feel that sense of motivation, which is a sense of purpose and drive and determination and focus. So I have a values alignment exercise that I've done and did live seminar. You can email me for that, and that'll help you get some sort of alignment and sort of clarify what you want. Because if you're not in alignment with your values, then you're not going to feel very, very happy about things. You've got to get that balance in life. And when you're planning your day and your week, it's really important that you do get the balance. And that brings us to the second principle, and that's why do you want it? And take one of the outcomes that you've got that you want and write down why you want it. The why, your driver, why you want it. Write a list of reasons why you want it. And that's really important. Successful people know why they want it. Why they want it. They look at the bigger picture. So you want to get in shape. And you want to get in shape because you want to play football with your grandkids. You want to stay physically well for longer, mentally better. So you eat better foods, more nutrition. You clarify why you want it. Why is your driver? If you've got a strong enough why, anything's possible. We've all seen stories of people who've lived beyond expectations. They've been diagnosed with illnesses and stuff like that, but they carry on going because they want to live to see their grandchild or their child or whatever really. Motivation is really important. Why you want it. It's really important you clarify and you write a list of reasons why, because that's the fuel that burns the fire. And successful people have got a strong enough why. And maybe who are you doing it for? You're doing it for your family, for your parents, for your kids, for yourself. Who are you doing it for? You're doing it because you've only got one life and you realise that I'm going to make a difference. When I used to work in football full time, I made a change. I started doing what I do now. And I had drives. People said to me, Jim, why are you leaving football for? You worked so hard for so long to be at that level you're working at professionally. Why are you leaving for? And I love working in the game, and I still work with professional footballers now, and I still work in the game now on my terms, without the constraints I used to have. Yet I had a strong enough why. I wanted to get out there and teach these philosophies to young people going to schools. I wanted to go out there and just spread a positive message. I felt that there's a generation of young people that were being written off in the world that we live in. I felt that I could do something about that, and it was really important to me. Having children myself, it's really important to me that I do everything I can to give them the greatest future I possibly can do. And I want to go out there, and that was one of my big drivers. And I felt if I could teach adults these principles, they would pass them on. And that's one of the reasons, one of my drivers. So whenever I had an opportunity to go on radio, based in Manchester, so I'm driving into London, 4 or 5 hours drive, get up at 3 in the morning and drive 6 or 7 hours to be on a show. And sometimes I'd cancel the show and I think, oh my goodness, that thing and all that sort of stuff really. But I knew I wanted to get out there and do it. Every opportunity to get out there and spread the message was really important, and just being focused and being true to yourself. And that's the most important thing. So write down your drivers, why you want it. What's your why? What is your why? Write a list down. Write down, why do you want your outcome? It's really important. If you've got a strong enough why, you'll do it. If you've got an excuse, you'll always have an excuse. If you have a strong enough why, whatever your circumstances are, you'll find a way. The first principle is do something about it. The law of action is really important. You've got to take action. No one is going to do it for you. No one will do your press-ups for you. Successful people take action. They don't wait. They take action. They're proactive. They go for it. I'm sure you've all have had ideas in your own mind and not acted upon those ideas, and you see someone else doing what you had an idea to do. You think, damn, I should have done that. It's about taking action. If you want to get in shape, you've got to do the training. You've got to eat well. You've got to exercise. If you want to start a business, you've got to get out there and do research, learn strategies. If you want to be successful and write a book, you've got to learn. You've got to go out there. You've got to take action. It's really important that you get into that habit of action. We live in a world, in a society, where people are looking for more and more instant gratification. There's more and more literature being written about working less and all that sort of stuff, really. And I'm not advocating that it's not great living in a balance. It's great having a balance and seeing your family, doing all these different things, really. It's really important that you do that and have plenty of time for recreation. Yet he's saying that the reality is that you've got to want it. You've got to work hard at it. And I know that's one of my beliefs, yet in saying that, I believe that if you're doing something purely for motivation, because you think life is going to be easier, it's just going to be harder. Throw yourself into what you want to do, be passionate about what you want to do. People say to me, Jim, I want to start a business because my life's going to be easier, I'm going to make more money and spend more time doing things I love to do. And I think, well, start a business. If you're starting a business this day and age, you do it because you love it. Not because you think, oh, you know what, I can swan around, do what I want to do. Because nothing's other than the truth. It doesn't work that way. You've got to throw yourself into it. There's certain times when I get up at 3 in the morning and I work and I don't even go to sleep. I work around the clock because I've got these huge goals of making a massive difference in the world that we live in. And it's no stretch because I'm happy doing that and I'm passionate about what they do. So I say you've got to do something about it. If you look for the easy way, life becomes harder. And I read these literatures, people show me these books about how you can work for a few hours a week and do whatever, really. It's idealistic. Well, maybe it might work for one person here or there, but generally speaking, we want purpose in life. Life's about purpose. Life's about fulfilling your dream, going for it. I'm not saying that you've got to work 24/7 all the time, you've got to get that balance, but you've got to do something about it. And you've got to be passionate about what you do. Because if it was easy, everyone would do it. It's about passion. And run your own race as well. Find your own happiness. Because a lot of people these days, they compare themselves with other people. And when you start comparing yourself to anybody else, you play a dangerous game. Because in the end, they are where they are, and you are where you are. And on an esoteric level, we don't really know what life's meaning is, other than the meaning we put on life ourselves. All we can do is do the things that we enjoy doing and feel good about, and keep going forward. And one of the things that we do feel good about as human beings is contribution and purpose. But you've got to do something about it. And I want to write one thing that you can do. Just one thing. Write down one thing that you can do towards achieving one of the outcomes you want. So it might be join a gym, it might be go for a walk, it might be start juicing, it might be do some research about starting a business, it might be making that phone call. Whatever works for you. It's entirely up to you. But write down one thing that you can do tomorrow to achieve the goal you want. It's about taking action. We live in a world these days where people spend a lot of time watching soaps on TV, they watch football, they watch sports, and I'm not against watching sports and football, I do myself, yet I do in moderation and not at the expense of my priorities. Yet in saying that, time is your biggest asset. Time is your biggest asset. No one can buy time back. Even the billionaires cannot buy time back. Time is all we have. And it's really important we use it in the right way, because a lot of people just take it for granted that we're going to be here for a million years or even more, and life just goes too quick. You've got to really seize the moment and live the moment. It's great having your goals, but it's really important that you live the moment, because what's to say that next week's going to be better than now, or a year's going to be better than now? Just because you've got your goals, I mean life's going to be better than what it is now. It's great having your goal. I'm a big believer in setting goals, but you've got to also live the moment and sometimes sit back and just admire the view and look at the countryside and go for a walk around the countryside. Just live the moment. It's really important that we live the moment. Just take the time out, listen to a good song, and just take a deep breath and just chill and let the world pass by and just observe the world. Have that goal, but sometimes it's important that we live the moment. You've got to do something about it and take action to move forward. The fourth principle is associating to your goal. We call sensory acuity. What will you see, hear and feel? When you think about it, you ever see the interviews of these sports people who scored a winning goal in the cup final? And they say, when I was 12-year-old, I imagined scoring a goal and the crowd roaring, and I saw the crowd everywhere, and the feeling was fantastic. They describe it in their sense. As human beings, we process through our senses, predominantly see, hear and feel. And it's really important that you associate your goal through your senses. What will you see, hear and feel when you have your outcome? when you're the weight you want to be, when you're the shape you want to be? What will you hear? What will you feel like? Just take a moment to be aware of what it will feel like when you've got your outcome or outcomes. What will it feel like at the close of play tomorrow if you've done what you'd like to do? That feeling of satisfaction, of happiness, contentness. What will you see? What will you hear? And that's really important that you do that. Otherwise, how will you know? And what will compel you to move forward? Associating to your outcomes through your senses is really important. It's really important you take the time to do that. Successful people take the time. So they imagine having that best-selling book. They imagine having that business. They imagine what it's like to be, walk and talk the person they want to be. And they do it in the here and now. And it's really important that we do that and take the time to do that. Okay. The fifth principle is emotions attitude. I always tell people when I'm working with them who are working towards the outcomes, if you can change one thing and one thing in the here and now, it's your emotion. What will you feel like emotionally when you achieve your outcome? What will it be like to achieve the outcomes that you want to achieve? So the outcomes that you want, for example, being the weight you want to be, what will it feel like emotionally to you? What will it feel like emotionally to be making the sort of money you want to make, the career you want to have, to be growing and learning the way you want to learn, to travel the places you want to go, to be the health and fitness you want to be, to contribute to life in the way you want to, the world, to be able to be doing the things that you love to do. Just tie the emotions into it. And I believe that by doing that, we let the universe shine through us. And we connect to the universe. And we shine. And we have an aura about us. You ever meet those people who've got that aura, that sense of purpose, the spring in their step? And it's really important to send out the right message. And also, in our mind, train our mind to experience positive emotions. From very early on in life, a lot of these positive emotions are sort of stunted. We're told how to feel and what to think. And it's really important that sometimes we let ourselves go and just experience these emotions. It's really important also our attitude towards achieving the goal. I always say, attitude's contagious. Is your attitude worth catching? And what attitude do you need to achieve the outcomes? We all get up in the morning sometimes and think, oh no, type thing. We all go through that. But as long as we don't continuously do that over and over again, if every morning you're getting up and it's the same morning and through the same process all the time, and something's got to change. In my own life, many years ago, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to change my attitude. I'm going to limit what I see on TV, especially the news. I'm not going to bother reading papers unless I read the back page for a sports result. I'm not going to bother watching reality TV. I'm going to just learn and go out there and watch speakers and go out there and associate with people who can help me grow. And you immediately feel better. And I challenge you to do that. I challenge you for a couple of days not to bother watching the news or reading papers or watching reality TV or watching soaps and limit your intake on social media. I challenge you to do that and see how much better you feel in doing that. And take a walk in nature. There's some of the most beautiful countryside anywhere in the world. Especially in the UK, it's fantastic. Go out there, or go for a walk in the beach if you live near a beach, or just go out there and connect with nature. And notice how you feel to connect with nature. Fantastic. Breathe in fresh air. Go for a walk and clear your mind and get clarity, mental clarity. And realise that in this life, we can all make a big impact. Just like throwing a pebble into the pond and it makes a ripple. What attitude do you have towards achieving your goal? And a lot of people have a negative attitude because they may have in the world that we live in classes failing. There's no failing in the context of we can't go again. With feedback, we learn. And sometimes you might not achieve the outcome you want, but what you end up achieving is where you need to be. We don't know life's big picture. And it's really important that the sixth point I want to make is being flexible. Life is not a competition. Run your own race. If at first you don't succeed, then pick yourself up and try again. You've probably heard that song before. But can you be flexible? if you've not achieved the outcomes you want to achieve, flexibility is really important. It's really important not to be too downbeat when things don't go where you want them to go. I know sometimes we can kick ourselves and we're our own worst enemy. I've been there myself. Yet he's saying that you live to fight another day. And it's really important that we've got flexibility. And I believe that we learn from very early on in life, very early on when we're very, very young, that in schools, that there's failure. They put you in classes, they put you in top class, the third class, the fourth best class, and we start building a stigma around being in failure. If I don't get this grade, I can't go to uni. If I don't get this grade, I'm going to be in the fourth tier of the classroom, and someone's going to be in set 1 or whatever, and we start building these self-esteem issues. And what's really important to tell people that, you know what, some of the best innovators in the world, some of the greatest scientists of our this generation and beyond, they weren't great at school, they weren't great academically, but they went on with desire to achieve. And it's really important to remember that there's no real failure, it's feedback. And better to love and lose than not to love at all. Better to go out and have a goal than sit back and play it safe all the time. Because if it was up to people who never had a goal, we'd still be in the Stone Ages. And the reason we are where we are today, and the reason we enjoy this wonderful technology we've got, like cars and planes and communication tools and all that sort of stuff really, is because people have innovated and they've gone for it. And when it hasn't worked out, they've gone again. And it's really important. It's really, really important to be flexible and keep going. And I want to write down, where can you be flexible? What outcomes have you set out to achieve? Is there outcomes or goals you set out to achieve in the past and you put away because you didn't achieve them once? Flexibility is key. You keep going. If plan A doesn't work, then you've got plan B, C, D, E, F, G, and the rest of the alphabet to keep going. As long as you're alive and you get up in the morning and your feet touch the ground and you're breathing, there's hope. Hope springs eternal. And it's important to believe that, because things can change pretty quick, pretty fast. Life is almost like a knife edge. Good and bad, by the way. It is saying that no matter what you're going through, I don't know what you're going through at the moment, you can always turn things around. Things can always be turned around. Whatever situation you're in, you can always add value to the world and to yourself and turn things around. So flexibility is really important. The seventh principle is to work at a psychology and physiology of excellence. Make sure that you walk with your shoulders back and your head up. I remember when I was very young at school, I used to lack a lot of confidence and had low self-esteem, and I used to walk like this, literally like that, everywhere. Almost like hiding. I was almost like hiding myself. Almost hiding. Until one day I decided, when I graduated from school and started doing well in sport as an athlete, and started learning things like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to put my shoulders back and be proud of who I am. Remember, you're 1 in 7 billion. And there's never been a person like you, and there never will be a person like you ever again. Make your mark now. Do it now. And put your shoulders back. And tell your children, if you've got children, put your shoulders back. Be proud of who you are. Shoulders back, head up. Be proud of who you are. Regardless of what you've achieved in school, your grade, regardless of whatever's happened in the past. Put your shoulders back and be proud of who you are. And work from that physiology. Okay? And it's important to get up in the morning and walk with a sense of purpose. Shoulders back. If you go into an interview, be proud of who you are. If you do your presentation, be proud of who you are. There'll never be a person like you ever again. You're unique and you're special, and we are all special in our own way. And the universe, I'm sure, has a plan for all of us. And I know it sounds a bit airy-fairy for a lot of people, the universe and lots of stuff really, but all I'm saying is that whatever you believe in and whatever you think is right or wrong, there's got to be a big picture. No matter what your faith is, no matter what you believe in, you'd be very naive to think that there's not a big picture. Just think about it, the miracle of life, the miracle of being born, the miracle of being born, the miracle of being alive. It's a miracle in itself. It's incredible. Think about the way the world synchronizes itself. Think about it. And what's really important as well too, I think, is to treat people the way you want to be treated yourself. And also treat yourself well too, like you would treat somebody else. It's really important, because I really believe on some level we're all interconnected in some way, shape or form. I believe in cause and effect. I think that everything has a knock-on effect. I really do. I think that you could say something to someone that's quite negative, and the impact that that has on that person and will have on many other people, we'll never know. We might know at some point in our life, but the impact that have. But also on a positive note, you might say one word of encouragement to someone, and the impact that it have on a whole society, a whole world, is quite powerful as well. So cause and effect is really important. And I think it's really important sometimes to be mindful of where people are as well. Sometimes you might go to a shop and the person serves you and they might look a bit miserable and grumpy, and you make an assumption. That person could be going through a hard time in their life. You don't know. You've been through hard times in your life. I have. Not every day is a bed of roses. And that's why it's really important sometimes to just take stock of certain situations, and sometimes we can be too hard on ourselves and people as well. And I think it's really important to be ourselves at our best. Work with the psychology of excellence. Who are you at your best? Write down who you are at your best. I know we all have things in the past that we're not proud of. There's things that I've done in my past I'm not proud of. I'm only human. You're only human. We're bound to make mistakes. Yet he's saying there's a lot of things I am proud of in my life and in my past, and so should you, and I'm sure you are. And we've got to maintain that level as often as we possibly can. We do have off days. Sometimes we say things to people we regret. Sometimes we do things that we regret. We're only human. Yet in saying that, going forward, think of who you are at your best and maintain that. Be a force for good. Be a force for light and love. People say to me, from a coaching point of view, I've been very fortunate. I've worked in sport at a very high level. I've trained some very great athletes, and I've travelled the world and met many business people. And I say, what's one of the most powerful ingredients, Jim, as a coach, as a therapist, it's love. And when I say love, it's not airy-fairy love, wishy-washy, airy-fairy. It's genuine love for what I do, and love for people. Love to see people do really, really well. I take a lot of pleasure and delight to see people fulfill their potential. It's nice, because I think in life you can't put anything in, then what's it all about? And I urge you to love what you do. Love what you do and be you at your best. And don't sell yourself short. And that's what successful people do. They've got the ability to do that. They've got the ability to work from a psychology of excellence. They are themselves at their best. Now, have you gone through the 7 principles? What I'd like to do, I'd like you to think of a time you've achieved an outcome. I'm sure you've achieved plenty of outcomes in your life. That outcome could be a degree, it could be you've written a book, it could be starting a business, it could be got into great shape, it could be all of them. It could be one of the most significant thing that anyone could do is bring up children. You bring up your children in the best way you possibly can. Think of an outcome or outcomes that you've achieved, and think about the principles that you've applied, that we've covered tonight, to any outcome you've achieved. So you knew your outcome, the strong enough why, what you did, your sensory experience, the emotion that drew you to do the outcome, the flexibility in your approach, and your psychology and physiology. So think of an outcome, whatever the outcome might be. It might even be a driving test, where you pass your driving exam. So you knew you wanted it, you had a strong enough why, you did your lessons, you associated what it was like to drive, your emotions to driving was great, you could pick up your friends, you could go out, you could do all things you'd like to do, you were flexible, you might not have got through the first time you went for your first test. It might be that, psychologically you were at your best at that moment to get through and determined to get through. It could be in your degree. But think of a time that you got through an outcome or outcomes, and think about the principle we've talked about tonight that you used. And I would say that you used pretty much all or a majority of those principles to achieve the outcome, because that is the psychology of success. So you do that already anyway. Me pointing it out this evening helps me become more consistent, because think of a time where you didn't achieve an outcome. So you might have gone for an outcome, didn't achieve it, and you put it to one side and didn't bother no more. And think about what you could have done that we talked about tonight that could have helped you get there. What if you knew your outcome? What if you drew into your mind why you wanted it? So maybe you had a resolution for the new year to get in great shape. So you had an idea of what shape you wanted to be, but you might not have been specific enough, or you might not have had a strong enough why, or you didn't take action consistently to get in great shape, or you didn't apply what it would be like to visualize and feel and hear and emotionally attach to being in great shape. Or could have been the flexibility in your approach, nutrition and exercise and joining a group of people who had the same goal as you. Your psychology, maybe you gave up when the going got tough, or maybe you had a certain circumstance in your life that made you derail, you didn't keep focused. So think about it. Whatever it might be that you didn't achieve and you put to one side, which one of these principles could have made all the difference, if not all of them? With the benefit of hindsight, what I want you to do now is think of a future outcome you're looking to achieve. So it could be traveling, it could be getting in your health, your fitness, it could be learning a course, it could be making a certain amount of money, it could be starting a new career, contributing to the world that we live in. Whatever, I'm not saying one thing goes right or wrong, but take an outcome that you want in your life, a place you want to be in your life, and think about some of the things that you could apply that we talked about tonight to help you move forward. Think about it. Could it be clarity in your own mind? Could it be writing a list of reasons why, the fuel that burns the fire? Could it be you taking action consistently? Could it be you applying the goal to your senses and what's going to feel like to have the goal? Could it be the emotional attachment to having the goal and the attitude as well? The flexibility. Because when things don't always go the way you want them to go, what do? The first hurdle, do you walk away or do you keep going? Your psychology. Could it be that in your own mind you give up when the going gets tough? Or maybe physiologically, you just back away and think, I'm not going to do it. Think about the principles you could use to help you for future reference in your outcomes. Because these are really powerful principles. And what I want you to do, if you get the time to do it, is study people. I take a lot of time and study people and learn from people. I think Success Leaves Clues is great, studying people who achieve success in their life. I think it's interesting to see what they do and how they go about living their life. And I'm not saying, like I said before, success for you is the same for me or vice versa for everybody. Yet in saying that, we've all got our own definition of where we want to be and what we want to do in our life. And it's great to study people, learn from their strategies. If you want to be a speaker, study someone who's a speaker. If you want to be a presenter, study a presenter. If you want to be a teacher, study a teacher. If you want to be a trainer, if you want to be a personal trainer, whatever you want to do in your life, study someone who is where you want to be and learn from them. And see what principles they use to be good. Because I think there's nothing better in the world than seeing someone who is really, really at the pinnacle of their game at what they do. It's great. And it's great to admire people, but also really important to admire yourself and never hold anyone in awe. Because there are things that you can do I can't do and vice versa. Things that people that you admire can't do what you do. So never sell yourself short. But it's great to go out there and learn from people as well. And see what principles they use to achieve their outcomes and their goals consistently. Because we can all achieve something to a certain point. The mark of a true champion is someone who consistently, over and over again, does results all the time. Someone that you can hang your hat on. Someone that is a home banker, so to speak. No matter what, they keep going. They go for it. They never give in. They're focused. They've got that positive outlook in life. Because like I said earlier in the seminar, we've only got one shot at it. And we're unique in our own way. And before you know it, time just goes really, really fast. And I think it's really important that the best time to start is in the here and now. If you wait for someday to arrive, that someday never happens. Someday I'll write that book. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll do that career. Someday. And you hear it a lot. There's no such thing as the word someday. It's non-existent. It's about starting. And the best time to start is the here and now. And I challenge you to go out there and whatever goal or dream or outcome that you're looking to do, start as soon as you possibly can. I'm well aware that some people have circumstances in their life where they might not be able to start straight away, yet put a target in place of when you can begin and follow it through. Because life soon flies by really, really quick. And I really believe that if you told people when they're born how long they've got in the world, they'd probably live their life differently. Sometimes we take it for granted. We live in a fear-driven society. We're driven by fear. You get up in the morning, the news is all about fear. The papers are about fear. It's fear-driven. And sometimes when you think about it, what have we got to be afraid of anyway? What have we got to be afraid of? There's nothing to be afraid of in life other than fear itself. Life is short. It's going to pass us by one way or the other anyway. I think in life you've got to go for it. And a lot of people fear what they perceive as failing more than anything else. And when you think about it, really, so what? You don't achieve the outcome. At least you've given it a go. At least you can rest in your own mind, have that peace of mind to say, I give it my best shot. And there's no price that you can put on looking back on your life and saying, you know what, I gave it all I possibly could. Because a lot of people out there, they'll sit back and they'll look at other people and they'll criticise people having a go and all the rest of it really well. Never try anything themselves, never have a go at themselves. And I think they're fail by default. Because I really believe that if you sit in that comfort zone, you're depriving the world of your sense of purpose. You owe it to the world. We've got the most powerful mind. Our mind is so powerful. What the mind can do is incredible. And the world and the people who go out and do all these amazing things, they're no brighter than you, they're no better than you, they're more talented than you. They've got the same mind as you or myself. And that's one thing I learned in my experience of working in sport at the highest level, in business. I used to think that the next level up, there were people that were a lot brighter and more intelligent than me. Or when I went to university, I used to think, okay, there's no way I can get through university because people are more academic than me. I didn't really do too great at school. Yet I would go to university as a 2A student and would get through in the end. I used to think people were more, and you realise that the higher and higher up you go until I reach the highest level, they were no brighter than me and they're no brighter than you. Just people who have a go. And that's what the world is. And people who succeed in the world, they're the people who have a go. Because in the end, really, if none of us had a go because we were too afraid of what might happen, then the world would be back thousands of years ago. So it's really important that we go out there and say, you know what, we give it a go. Let's give it our best shot and see what happens. You can always go back to what you're doing before in life, is what I always say. It is saying that sometimes finding that path less travelled takes us courage. And the person you go into, going for these outcomes and living your dreams and doing all the things that you could really, really want to do and things beyond your imagination are what makes us grow and evolve as human beings and learn. And these lessons are priceless. These lessons you can't learn in the classroom. These lessons you can't learn in the course. These lessons you don't learn in schools, universities. These are the lessons that are character building for ourselves. So I'm pleased you joined in tonight. I trust you've got out of tonight's seminar. Remember, the key principles are knowing what you want, why you want it, do something about it, bring your senses into association to the outcome, tie your emotions, attitude into achieving your outcome, be flexible and work from a psychology and physiology of excellence. So they're the key principles, having had the opportunity myself to work with some of the best people in their field. I've learned, I really want to pass them on to you. And what you do with them is entirely up to you. Yet in saying that, I sincerely wish you all the best and go out there and give your best shot. Feel free to email me for anything that we've covered this evening. My email is info@excelwithnlp.com. That's Jimmy Petruzzi at info@excelwithnlp.com. Find me an email. It'd be great to hear from them. I'm happy to give you whatever resources you want that we've covered this evening. It's been a pleasure doing the seminar this evening. I look forward to hearing your story and I look forward to connecting with you at some point in the future. Thanks again and good night.